supportive husband, but prior to that, my family was very, I don't want to say unsupportive, but very doubtful. See, I have an older brother in this business, and when he came into the business, he did very well, right? His first 9 months license, he made a 6-figure income, part-time, did very well. My whole family ended up coming into the business, and then I was the last one to join. And so the person who came up here earlier and said, the gentleman that came up here and said that he joined on his 18th birthday, I joined on my 18th birthday as well. Except I don't know what happened. All I know is I paid $200 for my own present, which was nothing, because it was just a piece of paper, right? But that's how I became a member. Right? My brother needed a recruit, and I happened to turn 18, and voila, there it was. And so my family was very supportive of this business, but not necessarily of me being in the business. See, my parents, all my life I wanted to be a medical doctor. And who wouldn't be proud if their kid was a medical doctor? Would you be proud if your kid was a medical doctor? Yes, right? It's like everybody's dream, right? And so that was the path I was going. And so my oldest brother is a pharmacist. He already had his degree. He made his career, and he was doing well. But for me, it was different because I was a college student. I was just getting started. And so for me, my parents saw this business as a distraction to what they really wanted for me, right? Because they saw me start focusing more on the business instead of my school, okay? And so every single day, from the day I got my license, in fact, the day I got my license, I quit my job. I used to work as a pharmacy technician. I used to work 2 jobs while I was going to school full-time. And I quit both jobs, and I came into the business full-time. And every single day, my sister would call my mom to tell her to tell me to quit. She couldn't call me herself, okay? Because she just didn't think I could do it, or she just didn't want this business to interrupt me becoming a medical doctor or whatever it was, right? But you know what? I was so blessed and fortunate that from the day I joined this business, I never missed a meeting. I've never missed a meeting, never missed a big event. Of course, I'm sure I got sick 1 or 2 meetings and didn't make it, but no big events have I missed. And that really built me to be able to see beyond the vision of just becoming, and please don't take me wrong, I have tremendous respect for medical doctors, especially when I'm sick, right? But I saw, a bigger future for me here. And, so it got so bad that I remember in my first year license, I came home one night and my parents, I came home and I could see the face of disapproval on my parents. Disapproval, disappointment, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? That kind of stuff, right? And I started to cry and I told my parents, I said, just don't let me see that face for 1 year. Give me 1 year and I'll prove that this is not the wrong decision, right? So try to hide your disapproval for a year. In that year, I had a 6-figure income. And this was 18 years ago. I was 20 years old. Oh, actually, I think I got licensed when I was 20, so I was 21, technically. And then after that, I didn't see the disappointment anymore, right? Sometimes your family can be your best advocate. Sometimes your family can really not be that encouraging. But you have to know in your heart what you want. Because at that young age, I knew that I wanted to retire my parents one day. And thankfully, Rob and I were able to do that 5 years ago for my parents. Okay? And by the way, my sister, who used to call my mom every day to tell her to tell me to quit, right? Is now in the business. And I think in means a lot. You have to have vision. And sometimes, other people may not understand that. They may not know, but you have to know what you're about, right? In fact, if I had quit the business, and let me tell you, it's very difficult. Knowing that your parents, and we live in the same house. I lived with my parents at that time, so it's not like I can avoid them, right? So imagine coming home every day. Sometimes the appointment, you get all beat up. Sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes they sit you up. Oh my gosh, sometimes they cancel their account. You're already beat up to come home to that situation, right? But you know what? If I had given up back then today, when my dad's job, about 5 years ago, when my dad's job wanted to give him a 65% demotion, okay? They eliminated his position and said, hey, you know what? We'll give you another job though, but it'll only pay you 35% of what you were making. And I remember we were on our way to a team Jamaica trip that we were doing, and I said to my dad, I said, don't you go back. You tell them thank you and goodbye. I said, and you don't go back. When my mom, who used to own a floral shop, when I would see her be so tired at the end of the day, if it weren't for this business today, we couldn't tell her, Mom, sell your floral shop. And we bought my parents $1 million home, 8 minutes away from us, in Annapolis, so that all they have to do is take care of our daughter. So 15 years later, however long it took us to be able to do that, if we didn't have the courage to keep going, today, my parents would not be in the place that they are today. So when your family doubt you, when your family is discouraging to you, if you're really serious and you know what you can accomplish in this business, just keep going. Yes. Keep going, right? And, a lot of people say to me, a lot of people ask me, Racquel, you know what? Who takes care of your kid when you travel? I say, my parents. And they say, oh, you're so lucky. I made my luck. Truth be told, we built a strong enough business that we could be able to retire my parents to take care of our daughter. It's not luck. We made it, right? And that's what we all have the opportunity to do here. Oh, and by the way, you tell me I'm lucky with Rob too. I made that luck too. Okay, so let me tell you how hard of a time I gave Rob. So, I had already been in the business for 10 years, okay? I had already worked to build up something. I didn't have a huge team, but, I had a business, and, I also want to start a family, so I'm looking to get married, I'm dating, whatever, and, so when I met Rob, I remember, he used to work at the Pentagon, right? So he would go to sleep 10 o'clock at night, so he could get up at 4:30 the next morning. And me, I'm still on appointment at 10 o'clock at night, okay? So I remember the first time, by the way, my husband and I met online, okay? Yes, let me just confess all my secrets to you right now. A girl gets lucky once in her life, okay? So I was on a Christian dating website. I was too cheap to pay for the actual thing, so they give you a trial. Okay? So they give you like a 30-day trial or something. It was a 30-day, it was 6 days. So actually, my best friend signed me up. I didn't even want to do it, but she just felt sorry for me. So, anyways, so I'm on. Man, I tell you what, I met some really weird people. Okay, and at the end of this 30 days or whatever, I was like, I'm done. And so it was my last last day of my free trial. It was Rob's first day of his free trial. And I remember I saw his profile, right? And when I saw his profile, and his picture was so blurry, I could not see what he looked like. Okay? But he emailed me or whatever, and I emailed him back, and I'm like, look, listen, today's my last day, and I'm not renewing. So here's my number. If you want to call me, but don't call me before 10 p.m. And that night he called me at 10:00 p.m. 10 o'clock. I looked at my phone and I said, oh, this is a good sign. And then, so it's busy at night, right? So I'm driving home and we had a big snowstorm. And I said, okay, I'll call you back in 30 minutes. I didn't call him back for 2 hours because it took me 2 hours to get home. And then we talked for 3 hours, and the rest is history. But, do you know, so he would call me at night to say goodnight. And, every time I listen to the voicemail, if I only have one negative voicemail, he's gone, right? Because, think about it, right? In the normal world out there, if you're not used to the WFG world, I mean, who's still at somebody's house at 10 o'clock? What do you do for a living? Okay? And so I'm waiting for him one time to say, so, where are you, right? But he never said that. Every time he called or whatever, he'd just say, hey, you know what? Good night. Sorry I missed you. I didn't get to say good night or whatever, but, I admire you so much for being out there helping families. Wow. I said, oh, this is a good sign. Okay. Anyways. All right. Are we done with my funny stories? Why do I share with what was that? No more. But why do I share that with you? I was going somewhere with that, by the way. It's not that I'm lonely and I want to tell somebody my stories. I wanted to share with you that, a lot of times in this business, we have a beautiful opportunity, but we fail to see it. We have the opportunity to be able to, Victor talked about, his training today was amazing. And actually, interestingly enough, it's just, I think my training is a continuation of his training. In that we have the opportunity to own our future. Right? So many times we go about life and we say, oh, well, my boss did this to me, or my boss put me here, or somebody put me here, or something happened, or this is why, or this is this, or whatever. But you know what? You know what I love about this business, and specifically about WSB, is that we own our future here. Is that right? And if it's good, it's because you make it good. And if it's bad, it's because you make it bad. So if it's bad, just make it good. Because we have the power to change it like that. It is in our hands, right? So I want to share with you from a little bit different perspective today, a little bit about our compensation. Is that okay? Yes. And, I love our compensation because it allows us to be able to write our paycheck. It allows us to be able to have no degree but get paid more than people who have doctorates and PhDs, right? It allows us to be able to make enough money to do whatever we want to do for our family. But we need to be able to understand the compensation. And by the way, I shared with you that, I got licensed when I was 20. By the time I was 21, I was making $100,000 a year in this business. Do you know how many licensed people I had in my team at that time? 0. How many? Somebody guess. 7? Okay? Is that right? Zero. I had 0 licensed people in my team. I had 0 licensed people in my team. So you know what? I was unlucky because, I tell you, all the unlucky stuff is me, right? At that time I was very young. And so I recruit a lot of people just like me, 18 and 19 years old, right? And at that time, licensing take a lot longer and costs a lot more, okay? Especially in the U.S. anyways. Okay. Especially in the U.S. And so I have a lot of young people. I have a lot of recruits. I have a lot of young people who join the business. They get so fired up about the income you can make. And nobody actually get licensed. Everybody joined, but in like 2 weeks they quit. They just want to go get a job where they can get paid $10 and $12 an hour. They're happier there. Right? So by the time I make my first $100,000 in this business, I'm still the only licensed person in my team at that point. So what I want to share with you is it doesn't matter the size of your team. If you have a license, you have the power to make a lot of money. Okay? Now you should build, and we'll talk about the builder's compensation, but it does not take away from your ability to take care of your family. With your pen, you should feed your family every month. You know why Rob and I, on average, we average about 40 to 50,000 personal points every month. You know why? Because nobody else will feed our family. We will. We will feed our family. And we will set a strong example for our team. Because you know what? When our team feel like they depend on us, they don't want to move. No. Is that right? When the team feel like we depend on them, they don't want to move. Right? But when they realize that, hey, we're making money no matter what. So, hey, if you want to stay there and don't do anything, go ahead. Then they just, okay, well, I guess I got to go do something. These people are not waiting for me, right? Yes. So, I want to share with you a few things. Number one, we have a, LB, please. We have a builder's compensation system, okay? What does that mean? Builders, if we understand the compensation, our compensation system pays us to build. It does not pay us to run for promotion and sit there, okay? It pays us to continually build. So, when you look at, so initially we start off as a training associate, is that right? Yes. And you're at 26%, then associate 36%, MD 51%, and SMD 66%, right? So, you know what? You can move up, and there's a lot of spread in this, is that right? So what do we know? There's 2 ways to make big money in this business. Number one is how many people working with you. Okay? And number 2, how much you make working with these people, or what we call spread. Okay? So, when we look at spread, so here, my spread, let me use a different color. So if I'm an S&D, my spread with my MD is how much? 15%, right? My spread with my associate is 30%, and my spread with my training associate is 40%. Is that right? So, which one is more? 40 or 15? promote an SMD, then they become your first generation. When they promote an SMD, that becomes your second, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So we have the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. So on our first, we make 12%. Is that right? Second, 5.5. Third, 3, 2, 1, and 0.5. Is that correct? All right. I've got Canadian countdown. Yes. So let me ask you, what's the highest contract? SMD personal? So many people say this is your highest contract, 66%, right? Is that right? Yes. Let me ask you, which one's higher? Which one's higher? Oh, can the people in the back see? Okay, is it better? Okay, can you see? Which one's higher? 4 times 40. So actually, 66% is not our highest contract. What do I mean by that? It pays us to continually go wide, not necessarily just sit there and produce right contracts. You understand what I'm saying? Our compensation system pays us to continually bring people into our business and help them to be able to move through our system. So you know what? 12 looks like it's less than 40, isn't it? Yes, but not necessarily either. Because here, typically, how many people does my training associate have in their team? Nobody, right? Or else they wouldn't be a training associate. Is that true? So with my training associate, yes, I have a 40% spread. However, I'm doing almost all the work. Is that true? And I'm overriding one guy. Somebody decides to call me right now. Okay. And I override maybe 1 or 2 sales by 40%. Are you with me? But by the time I build my first generation SMD, they really don't need me anymore. Is that right? And probably there's 10, 20, maybe even 30 people here in this first generation base shop. So technically, for my first generation, let's say they do 100,000 points, even though I only override 12%, that's still $12,000. Is that right? How much work am I doing with them? Not much. I'm sure I still probably mentor them or whatever, but I'm not out there running their appointments, those kinds of things. By that time, they can pretty much survive on their own. So, you know, our income with this business is unlimited if we really understand what kind of compensation system we have. We have a comp that helps us to be able to attract more people into our business, right? And by the way, I should be more fired up, you know, in our business. By the time, how many of you are SMD in the room? Okay. The next question, don't answer. The next question, don't answer in public. Just answer it in your mind. Okay? Okay. So of all the SMDs we have in the room, I wonder how many of them do 210 every month. Or even just 2. 2 personal campaigners every month. I don't want you to answer. But I would say probably not many. It's because we don't understand the compensation. Right? As an SMD, I should be the most fired up person to continue to go wide. Because I have the most spread to build this guy. personal recruiting until I really understood the compensation. Okay? I wasn't. And then when I realized, oh my goodness. And hey, by the time they get here, great. See, this is very profitable, but this is my long-term security. This allows me to put food on my table right now. This allows me to go to the beach in 3 years. Does that make sense? All right. Do you understand our compensation system? Let me share with you another way. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to write this one, okay? I'm going to just let you read my writing. So, I think this year, Liz, is the year we need to get to consistent level 1, I think not even level 1. I think this is the year we need to get to consistent level 2 and level 3 base shop. Would you agree? So for those of you who don't know what level 2 and level 3 base shop is, just look on page right here. So right here. So level 1 base shop, is 10 campaigners and 30K in a month. Level 2 is 15 campaigners and 50K. Level 3 is 30 campaigners and 100K. Everybody with me? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about building a 50,000 point base shop. Okay? So, if you're an SMD, by the way, if you're not SMD, hurry up and get to SMD. Okay? SMD is the best contract you can have in this business. Alright? So hurry up. It does not take long. SMD is a 90-day project. So as an SMD, if I go out and I have 10K, 10,000 points, I write. Now, that may come from field training. That may come from your own personal client, whatever, but it's 10K, right? Am I boring you? Are you still with me? Yes. Anybody came here to change your life? Yes. Anybody want me to show you how to make $250,000 this year? Yes. In 2020? Yes. Yes. So you do 10K. As an SMD, that's $6,600 for the month. $6,600, right? Then the other 40K come from your base shop. So if you override 15%, 30%, and 40%, we average, let's say, 25%. Is that okay? Yes. So your override on 40K in your base shop is about 10,000. So if you add that and that's 16,600. Are you with me? Yes. But as an SMD, you also get paid some monthly bonus. And Liz, would you agree with me that if you have a 50,000 point base shop, maybe you get about $2,000 bonus? Yes. So it is probably more, but I like to be conservative, okay? So $2,000, so that means on a monthly basis, you make $18,600. On a monthly basis, guys, multiply that by 12, that's over $200,000 for the year. But guess what? Because you are an SMD and you have consistency. See, don't just do it 1 month. You need to do this over and over and over. You cannot be in business with the lack of consistency. You cannot be in business and flip-floppy. 1 month you work, 1 month you don't work. 1 month you have results, 1 month you don't. Give me a break. Business doesn't work like that, right? You may fluctuate between, 50 and 60, but 0 and 0 and 10 and 0, that's not how business is supposed to work. You're supposed to be pretty consistent, okay? So, quarterly bonus. So for every quarter that you average 50,000 points a month, so let's say January, February, March. By the way, we're in January. And any one of you this month that you want to hit 50,000 points in your base shop, you can do it. You can do it. $8,000 bonus. The month when we don't hit strong, we only get like $8,000 bonus. So you gotta start strong in January.